Hey guys, it is the 6th of April 2013 and this is Boots on the Ground. I am your host, Gimble B, and joining me this week is a bunch of people returning. We had all new guests last week and now they've all gone away.
You scared
You
them
scared them.
Yeah. First we have Cerebral. Thank you, XSplit, for reversing my camera. To that side. How's it going, Cerebral?
I'm good. I'm good. Everything's quite interesting at the minute. Yeah, well, as you know, actually, you were involved with something really interesting not so long ago.
Yeah, we'll be doing more of that after we finish recording this as well. So.
Yeah, that's something I don't really want to talk about just yet, but I'm pretty sure it'll make its way to the forums really, really quickly. So yeah, I'm good.
Cool. Kane, you were also involved. How's it going?
Doing alright.
How was it wedding you went to?
Oh, it was good. It was my cousin's wedding, so it went well. It went well. It's a lot of fun.
Cool. Quick Gloves, how's it going? What are you drinking?
Just some Coors Light today. Oh, I'm back from, I heard you say I was at AA last week. That's not a joking matter.
Yeah, he doesn't even know what AA stands for.
Yeah, what does that mean? Not one of them acronyms. No, I had work last week. Sorry, guys. I work rolling swing shifts, so sometimes it's hard for me to get caught up with everything.
Cool. And also, joining us as a guest this week is Leoso Catalani. I think I said that right?
Dude, I don't know how to say it.
He writes for thematani.com and has done a bunch of Dust stuff for them. Is it just Dust stuff you do for them?
Eve stuff too, but yeah.
Cool.
Mostly Dust.
But yeah, we don't actually have that much to talk about this week. We have a few big things, but I guess I just kind of want to start with Lowratehitman, the video guy one of our video guys at Subreddit, got out of hospital over the past couple of days, so go send him your love, youtube.com/Lowratehitman. Go spam him with, like, I hope you get better soon and that kind of thing.
I didn't hear anything about this.
Yeah.
Is everything okay? Or?
Yeah, he just had something happen. I think it was his stomach or something, and he had to go to hospital and have surgery. But he's better now, and he's home. So go send him love and all that good stuff. That was pretty much everything on that topic. Unless anyone has anything to add.
We could be speculating on what he went into surgery for, but that just seems a little bit untasteful.
There's a video on his channel about like what happened and that kind of thing. But yeah, Lowratehitman, hope you get better soon. Cool.
You didn't introduce Quick Gloves.
I did.
Yeah, I did. Where were you?
Did you? I don't know. I was asleep earlier.
Yeah. We talked. You even mentioned you made a crack about AA.
Yeah.
Come on, it was like 3 minutes ago.
My girlfriend was trying to talk to me at the same time. My girlfriend came in and she brought me some food, and then she got all pissy with me because I was on here and I couldn't talk to her at the time, so I must have missed it. Sorry.
Seeing Quick Gloves being drunk.
Yeah, come on, what is this? Let me grab a beer. Hold on.
I need alcohol, that's what it is. I'm sober.
Moving on. Art contest. I actually screwed up last week because they use American dates on CCP. So didn't actually end on the 4th, that was actually April. So the art contest ends on the 13th, and there's pretty much no entries to it, and like one of the prizes is like a graphics tablet that's worth quite a lot, like a graphics card that's worth like a few $100s. So if you want to like get a graphics card for free, I guess you could go enter that. There'll be a link down in the description. But
I think they listed the prize backwards because I looked up the prices and the graphics card is worth more than the first prize, the graphical tablet.
So do well, but don't be the top one.
Basically.
Cool. And we're meant to be getting a forum thing. That was something I brought up last week, and Frame tweeted me, so I guess they're still like getting permission to put that forum section up or something. but we're actually getting a forum to put videos and art and music and all that stuff in.
Yay!
We're getting
Awesome.
a My Dust.
Yeah, which has been sorely needed, I think, for a while.
That could be pretty good. I mean, we churn out some pretty good propaganda and stuff, and it'd be nice to actually be able to share that with people.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's not propaganda. They're recruitment posters, honestly.
Tomato, tomato.
Okay, and now that the stuff that nobody really cares about is out of the way. No offense,
I'm
alright.
I'm actually a little curious. I mean, I've not paid any attention to that contest because it's not really my sort of thing, but what are the entries like that people have got in there? Has anybody actually looked at them? Because I know I haven't.
Some of them are stick figures.
Are you serious?
Yeah, like it's the threads in the notes. You can go have a look. They have a second page of entries now.
Wait, they do?
And the first page is almost no links. Oh wait. Oh no, wait. There's a second thread. Oh no, there's only like a single page for the actual entries. So yeah, there's
Maybe I
an
should-
entire like 18 entries, I think.
Kane, should I put mine in?
You might as well.
Well, like, look
Maybe
at the
I'll,
first entry. That pretty much... It's like a rage comic.
It's not even letting me look at them. Screw you, man.
You're like, you having trouble there.
I must not be in the right thread. I must not. This is
Uh,
bull.
Hang on, I'll put it in chat.
It's a link you just go to.
I'm on the forums, but it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, change the 7 to an 8 in the number.
Screw you guys. I'm going home.
But yeah, if you've ever wanted to like win the easiest prize in history, yeah. Oh man, you can win a monitor as well. Second prize.
Yeah, it's some really good stuff. I think what it is some people may be confused about whether they enter into the competition thread, because there's actually that post is not where you put the submission.
Yeah.
It's actually the competition thread, which is linked in that first post.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's a
Maybe
link,
console
but-
players just can't draw.
Oh, cold.
I
I
might
second that
actually have a
opinion.
word with my guys and see if they can come up with
Entries,
something and put it in.
picks.
If we win anything, we can sell it and give it to Quick Loves to spend on beer.
Yay!
More entertainment for all.
Yeah,
dude,
but
come
you've
on
got
now,
like a
where
week
is
to
it?
enter if you want to like get stuff in. So yeah.
Alright. So I have a question. I'm gonna submit the photo that I showed you guys. But I don't know how.
You just upload it. There's so many different.
This is good. This is good because the people watching will get a little tip on how to do it.
Okay, so you see how like some of those links in that competition thread have that like that URL imgur.com? Well,
Yeah.
that's a place you can upload stills, and then you can then share the link on the forum thread.
Can I just do that from PhotoBucket?
Yeah,
could
you
link
should be able to do
from
it.
Bucket, yeah.
PhotoBucket, it's one of those programs.
Well, I'm going to PhotoBucket. Product integration.
Fuck you, Imager.
Oh, jeez. So nice to be here.
You just come for the abuse.
I do. I think I have a what's that type of personality? Go ahead. You know the word I'm thinking of.
Funny.
Sadist?
Is that it? I'm pretty sure that's not right. I'm pretty sure that's not right.
Oh, wait,
No,
no.
I think I have a good sense of humor, so it's fun for me.
I think you need one to play this game, to be fair.
Yes.
Definitely. A lot of people in this game take it way too far recently.
Oh.
That's
Yeah, shit. Jesus Christ, if half the people knew the stuff that some of us know.
shit.
Oh.
Oh my god, the way some people react. Ooh, anyway, no, I'm not getting into that. No, that's bad. I'm not
Secret.
getting it.
Quick.
No, he knows who he is.
Yeah. That guy knows. Alright, so I'm going to upload now. Are you guys ready for this? I'm going to submit my application.
Oh my god, you're
It's
doing
not an
it
application.
during an episode. Excellent. Heard it here first, guys.
Heard it here first. Boom.
Quick Gloves wins because of boots on the ground.
Just make sure you actually... so you're submitting into the competition entries thread, correct?
I
Not
don't
the...
know, Keen. I have no idea. I'm clicking the button.
Just make a general discussions post. There you go.
My TV is talking to me. Hold on. I'm going to turn it down right now. There's a dark chocolate commercial on. I got yelled at by David the other day, so I have to stop talking.
He didn't yell at you.
He yelled at me. I cried for 20 minutes. I was so sad.
That's because you're
I'm
a girl.
sorry. Oh crap! Where'd he go?
We lost him.
Oh, no.
And another one bites the dust.
Right, I'm gonna stop recording, and when we come back, we'll talk about the CCP podcast. Hang on. Okay, guys, we're back. Quick Gloves managed to actually upload his picture, and Leoso is reconnected to the call.
Quick Gloves broke the internet.
It only took us like 10 minutes. We're good. We're good to go.
Yeah,
Quick
so
Gloves
anyway,
missed it, yeah.
art contest, go enter, links are down there. Moving on, CCP have started doing their own podcast now, because they saw what I was doing, and they thought, oh, what a great idea.
I agree with that, actually, because I've spoken to a couple of them recently, and they're big fans of the show. Both Nullarbor and Fox4 have said that they watch this quite regularly, so I think they're clearly copying this format, and that's what it is.
You should sue them for copyright.
So yeah, so they started doing two things. They started doing a podcast, which was with Commander Wang and who's the other guy? Nova? No, not Nova.
Nova.
Crap, what's the guy's
Sorry,
name?
Nova. Praetorian.
Frame. That was it.
Right?
I think it was Frame. Was it Praetorian on that show?
CCP Guard? I don't know.
Yeah, they started doing
Praetorian
their
is
own
the
like
guy.
10-minute
You should have
podcast.
done the research.
Yeah, anyway, it's called Mercast, and it was like 10 minutes long, and they revealed a bunch of cool stuff. And I was just like wondering what you guys thought about like them doing a podcast in general. We'll get to the actual content later.
Okay.
I think it depends how regular it's going to be, though. Is it
Yeah.
only going to be when
That's-
it's got something to release, or what? I don't know. I don't think we've got enough information, really, have we?
But I think it would definitely be cool to see something like that, once a month, something, if it had a regular occurrence, just kind of as an update for the devs to kind of update things. Kind of like how they started in the threads doing the feedback and suggestions, weekly updates, and the bug report weekly updates. I think having it regular is nice.
Yeah, I don't think they can actually do an actual podcast because they can't speculate because they know what's going on.
Yeah. So it'd be like a monthly update thing. I would imagine that being the format of something like that.
Well, I guess they must have thought it through for them to do it in the first place, because otherwise it's a lot of effort for them to do it for no reason whatsoever. So they must have something planned.
I mean, they have it's listed as episode 1, I think,
Yeah.
which implies more episodes generally.
It was interesting, nonetheless. Anyway, it was a nice little surprise, to say the least.
Yeah, they kind of dropped a bomb if we want to get into the content.
Yeah, well, I just want to mention the live stream thing they've started doing as well, and like people's thoughts on that before we move on.
I enjoyed that a lot more than the podcast, if I'm honest. Just for the fact that CCP Socks 4 had no shoes on.
Did you guys see my post about CCP doing like a podcast for when they release the CW guys and girls? I think that'd be cool if they make it kind of personal.
CW? You mean the War Council?
CW?
Yeah, sorry. You did this to me the other day. Cerebral did this to me the other day. Cerebral's like, what does WC mean? I'm like, War Council. And he's like, CWC or WC, get it?
You got it
I'm
the
like,
wrong way round.
No, today, but last time.
No, you got it.
You gotta stop
Don't make
messing
me
with my
go
head.
and don't
Every
make me go
time-
and pull the logs.
Quick, every time you brought it up, you always reverse the letters.
I don't
Thank
know,
you.
man.
See?
I'm just
It's
like,
you. The War Council, you mean?
yeah, I think that it'd be cool if they did like a, I don't know, I'm a sports guy, so like an NBA draft or, you know what I mean? Like that type of deal. Like they kind of make it fancy, you know, have some fun with it. Be like, and now. I think they should do it on a live show, not just put a bunch of names up on a board. I think they should do it on a live show and maybe get some of those people on the show. I don't know. I think it'd be cool.
And dancing cheerleaders and
And smoke machines.
Yeah, dude, come on. We could throw jerseys at each other. It'll be neat. Anybody, dude. It'll be fun. I think it'd be cool if they did it like that. You know what I mean?
I'm sorry.
If they made it
I'm
personal.
sorry. Whoa. We can throw jerseys at each other. Do you know something I don't about who's on this list?
I'm saying it's the show. That's all I'm saying,
Huh?
dude.
Oh, okay. Are you sure?
Now I'm confused. Are you playing with me again? This is so unfair, dude. This is so unfair. I'm just a down-to-earth guy who can play mind games. I'm just saying, if people, like, I don't know, if I was doing it, like, if I was doing a show like that and it's some big news for the whole community, I'd make it fun. You know what I mean? I think it'd be more personal. It would give CCP a way to kind of kick back and kind of have some fun with it. It gives them a chance to actually interact with the community, I think. I know they're doing a good job with it, but they're doing the podcast now, too, so it'd be just a neat little episode, I think.
Personally, I don't give a shit how they do it, as long as they hurry up and let people know, because they were meant to let us know before the end of last month.
I think then Easter and then CSM elections happen. So I think
And PAX as well, yeah.
Yeah, and PAX all the
CSM
same.
elections they're live right now, right?
they are.
Yeah. Go vote if you're on Eve. So, you know.
Yeah, vote for Minor. Go vote for Minor. More goons on the council.
How many goons are on the council right now?
0.
Oh.
Matani left, so
Did he leave or get forced to step down? I heard
I think the
rumors about
official
I'm
is.
sorry, is that a genuine question, Quick?
that. I'm not allowed to poke fun? Alright.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
David wants good ratings. Gimble probably gets great reviews from this. This is gold.
Oh my God. Yeah, let's leave that one alone.
Yeah.
I work for him, so I'm not going to go there.
That's funny.
Yeah, we'll leave that whole drama alone.
Yes.
If you want to go look that up, then you can.
No, don't. You don't need to.
Oh, we need less goons on this show. Anyway. Moving on. Like, okay, so you guys thought like the live stream was cool, and you already reset us. I thought we were at war. Anyway, like going back to live streams and that kind of stuff, do you like want to see more of this kind of thing? Like, you've been enjoying the podcast and the live streams so far? I
mean, I think any time when the developers go out and connect to the community in a way that is easier, because I mean, not everybody wants to read through forums and stuff like that. I think a lot of times videos and live streams and stuff like that can be more approachable for a lot of people who don't necessarily, go through the other avenues of communication. So I think it's a way to connect to more people. I mean, so I hope they continue doing it.
I mean, we are dealing with the attention spans of FPS players.
I think that's a good point.
I'm gonna bite my tongue over here.
No, I think it's a valid point. I mean, you two are certainly exceptions to the rule, but a lot of the stuff that's been spoken about in terms of, just simple things like gameplay mechanic changes, little tweaks to climb prices and things like that, people kick up a huge stink over it because they can only look as far as what's in front of their nose. They can't look 6, 12 months down the line. Whereas, you two can. Most of the time, depending on how much Quick Love has had to drink.
Hey, why does it always come back to the same thing? I'm like every single statement. Oh, but if Quick Loves is drinking, I've done a lot of good things while I was drinking.
You have done a lot of bad things, man.
Oh, shit.
He did bring in the random guy into his court battle when he was sober.
That was awesome. You gotta admit, dude, that was fun. Getting our butts
That was
kicked.
fun.
That was so much fun. I had a blast. I was laughing. It was great.
But I mean, like you said, Kane, it's if the more info they can get out to people and make them understand their development process and what they're going for, it's a better thing.
Yeah, 'cause the community is really hungry for, because they, a lot of people they want a straight up roadmap, and CCP generally doesn't. I mean, they have kind of laid out things that they want to do, but they generally don't do, because they rely so much on emergent behavior and emergent gameplay. They don't necessarily do as stringent of a roadmap as necessarily you would see in other games. I think PlanetSide 2 released like a 6-month roadmap or something like that. I remember reading briefly about it on the on a forum once, but I don't know. I don't know if that's really CCP style, but having stuff out there for people to grab onto, it really helps. I think the players, they feel like, okay, there is a future. This is kind of where we're going. This is kind of what we're doing. And the more ways you can do that, because they've been good about being on Twitter. I mean, they've done Facebook stuff. I mean, the more media that you go out and reach for people, I think the better off you're going to be, and the more effective the work of briefing the players is going to be. Because if you just brief players in one medium, you're not going to get the impact that you want for the dev blog, the Planetary dev blog. If it's only on the dev blog and then it's never announced anywhere else, people aren't going to really know about it. So you have to reach out in other ways too.
Yeah, I've noticed they've been really good about IRC and chatting to players there, but there's a very small amount of players in that IRC channel, so they do kind of have to go out and reach to a wider audience of people.
Mm-hmm. They've been really, really good the last couple of weeks as well. I mean, every time I've popped into IRC, either Sox4 or Nullabore's been on, chatting with people about various bits and pieces.
Yeah, it does seem the Dust dev team is a bit more on the PR side than Eve, but I'm props to them, really.
I wouldn't go as far as saying it's PR side. I mean, I think they genuinely do take on a lot of the feedback that they're given, and they do something with it. I mean, you've only got to look at the recent Planetary Conquest update changes that they've made. But obviously, I know we're going to cover that shortly, but it's a good example of them taking on board the feedback that they've been given by us and then actually doing something with it in a really short space of time.
Cool. Well, I guess move on. If anyone has nothing left to say.
We're all excited for the actual juicy bits.
Okay, we'll move on to the juicy bits then. Skill points are getting refunded. This was announced on the Mercast episode 1, and all the skills are on CC at the moment as well, so you can actually find the full list. It'll actually be in a link down below.
Yeah.
And then the forums exploded.
I'm so glad I saved up that 5 million SP. Yeah.
The question is, have you spent it now?
Yes, I've spent it all. Freaking
mad, bro?
I'm not mad. It's just the amount of irony is just overwhelming, because I think on every episode and in all of my streams, I've mentioned, haha, look at all this SP I've saved up, and I'm going to do all these fun things with, and then they're like, haha, respec. There you go. But no, it's actually the fact that they've done the respec. I had so much SP saved up, I just found interesting. There was this interesting fittings, and
I'm married. Deal with it.
But it is. I saw some interesting fittings that I wanted to try out, and rather than having to piecemeal it together over time, I was able to just instantly go through and like spec out everything I wanted to, and like I've been like messing around with LAVs and some other things like that, which has been a lot of fun. So there was a bad side to it, and also kind of a good side to it as well. Because otherwise, if I had been spending SP as I went along, I probably would not have skilled into like LAVs like the way I have, and that's been a blast to be right.
Have you made an LAV that can survive forge rounds yet? Because I've heard of people doing it, but you can actually do it.
I can survive one forge round, and it's expensive, but but it kills things pretty much instantaneously as long as there's a good gunner on it. That's the only problem is it takes 2 people to make a good LAV really work. So that's just one of the things.
In my corp, he's got a brick of an LAV. It can take, I think, 3 swarm launchers and two forge guns.
Yeah. Yeah, it's you can do some nice stuff with them. It's really fun.
That's one of the few things I've not played with, actually.
Oh, they're so much fun.
I mean, during all of the older builds, I mainly ran Assault. And then with this new build, I decided to play Heavy for a bit. But I don't know if I'm going to do anything different with all my skill points yet. Not when the respec happens, anyway. I don't know. Maybe.
Stuart, did they make it really clear if it was like, okay, once the respec hits, it's just everything's set to unallocated and it just sits there until you spend it?
I heard you get your money back and everything too.
Yeah, you get your money back for all the skill books you've spent. All the money you've spent on skill books you get back, rather. And yeah, everything's set to unspent skill points.
That would be kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, it would be like how I've been existing for like, what?
Oh, by the way, Kane, great video the other day.
Oh, yes. The awesome. The YouTube, the Dust PSA. That was
awesome.
I can't.
I was rolling watching that. I said, "This is amazing." Now, here's a real question: did you stage it or?
No, that completely was random. I actually put the extended. Awesome. I put the extended version on so people could see like the setup to it and everything.
That's awesome.
Instant karma is what that video was all about. So
yeah, that was funny, dude. Good job on that.
Is anybody planning on making any skill point changes then, or are you just going to respec pretty much the same stuff? Or
I
don't know. I can't imagine not being a heavy. I mean,
well, you do regularly chime on about being one of the best proto forge gunners in the game, so
I just can't imagine doing the plasma cannon though. That may be.
It sounds interesting, yeah.
I may have to play with that, and I don't know. It could park me for my forge gun, but I don't know that. But it'd have to be pretty. It'd have to be pretty amazing.
That's actually a really interesting point. Cause that's it's not a heavy class weapon either, is it?
Mm-mm. I wouldn't be tied to the heavy suit, so.
Yeah.
There's a dev in Iceland somewhere saying "challenge accepted."
No. Oh man. Well, that's one thing from the Singularity file dump. It seems like everything's getting racial suits except for heavies. It seems like we're only getting Amarian racial suits for heavies.
I think.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like all of the skills are getting split into more skills. Like, all of the weapon, you're not gonna have light weapon sharpshooter anymore. You're gonna have like assault rifle sharpshooter.
Yes.
And you're not gonna have like engineering. You're gonna have vehicle engineering and dropsuit engineering.
See, one of the things I was thinking about doing was moving all of my skill points into core skills, so it's all done, and then I can just spend any skill points I get in the future on cool stuff. But that sounds like that might be off the table as well now.
Well, yeah. I know some people are worried or frustrated with the fact that it may be a real big skill point sink. So will take a lot longer to do more things. But I don't know. I think the same mentality, the same process has been used with EVE, and it's been successful because what it allows, veterans will be more versatile, but at the same time, there's always going to be an advantage to a new person coming into the game and then specializing. They can come into the game and they can, they can sign up to a corp. The corp can be like, yeah, we really need this specialization. And since they can focus laser beam on that specialization, they can be just as good as somebody else is in that specialization, but not necessarily competing with vets who have skills that apply to every weapon. Like every light weapon, these skills apply to. Every weapon, these heavy skills apply to. I think it's going to be make it a more tactical game, make it a little bit more hardcore. I think that'll be good for the health of the game in the long run. Although it's going to be frustrating for people initially.
Yeah, I think the problem is a lot of players want everything and they want to be able to do everything and they want to do it all straight away, and that's not what this is really about, is it?
No.
I think right now with PC right around the corner, specialization is going to be key, like Kane said, because certain teams already have their 8-man God squads. Now they're going to be sticking 8 more guys on top of that. There's going to be room for specialized heavies, specialized ARs, specialized logis, and the newer players are actually going to have the ability to come in and already have a role to fill because the corp's going to let them know, like he said. So that's a good point.
And there's going to be a lot more roles in the PC because now that skill points aren't distributed by like war points, they're distributed by time in the map. So you could have like scouts sighting people and that sort of thing.
Now they said they're going to be opening up other things in the market on May 6th too, right?
Did they?
Yeah. Well, May 6th is when when the build goes live, but I think Planetary Conquest doesn't go live till the next week. So I think.
Oh, really?
What they're doing is they're giving people a chance to mess around with the changes and then have the district taking actually take place.
So the Planetary Conquest doesn't go live till the week after the 6th.
And I think it's the 14th.
I booked 2 days off work for that. Welp.
Yeah.
So, do you think a lot of corps are just going to go like hungry hippo districts, or do you think people are going to be really cautious and stutter in?
I don't. Well, with the new mechanic where basically corporations can buy as many packs as they want, I know that a lot of people. I know a lot of the really large corporations and really large alliances we're already putting plans into place to do alt corporations to snatch up districts, but
they don't have to now.
They don't have to now. They can just buy as many packs as they want.
Now, I don't really know too much about the packs. What exactly is involved with that?
It's 150 clones. It's 80 million ISK. And what you have to do is you actually buy the pack when you deploy it. So I'm pretty sure the way it works is you would select an unoccupied district, and then it would give you an option to buy the pack to occupy that land.
So out of the 200 districts, there's no initial, we get to fight over it. It's going to be purchased, like Louisiana Purchase style. First come, first serve.
It's going to be like a gold rush, basically, and in Louisiana Purchase, everyone goes in, stakes their claim as fast as possible, as many districts as they want, and, then all of a sudden, the next day is when everyone's going to start fighting over stuff.
You can use packs to attack people, though, can't you?
Yes, you can. So what I would imagine is if it's a district that's occupied by someone, you then select the option, and then it'll say, buy the pack and attack this location. And that'll be 80 million ISK to do that. So you can attack anybody anywhere for 80 million.
The question is, how many corps are going to sink everything that they've got in a Planetary Conquest and not be able to manage to hold their land?
I can name 3 right off the back, I bet, that are going to go big scale like that. No, I'm not going to do that because I got in trouble last time. Cerebral's just fishing for me to get in trouble.
You're no fun.
I'm getting better, dude. I'm getting better.
I can name the 3 that I think Quick Gloves is thinking of.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, David.
I think it's going to be Sever, your goddamn name with its lack of an E. subreddit and Planetary Response Organization are going to be the three that really like put everything into it right at the beginning.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm fairly confident that at least subreddit's going to be able to hold territory. Pro, I don't know. I don't want to make any assumptions about it 'cause I don't really know them that much. But yeah, I mean, I'm more interested in the people that are gonna. I'm more interested in the people that are going to put everything they've got in it and then not be able to hold anything.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. The timers, it'll be, I think the thing that's going to be, create the most dynamics or the most problems in the long term is going to be the timers. I really do.
Yeah, because you're
I think
with the large corps, you're gonna have like pretty much, if they have enough territories, they're gonna have battles going around almost around the clock. Just depending on like, they're gonna have to distribute these territories to this time zone, these territories to this time zone, just so they can keep all their bases covered, basically.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's a forum topic up at the minute discussing that I started because personally I don't like the way that the current mechanics are. It feels too safe, too secure, and a little bit too prone to burnout, to be honest with you, because it's forcing people to play every single day. And if it's a small corp that hasn't got a huge player base, say it's a bunch of 20-odd friends or whatever that have been playing games together for donkey's years, they're not going to be able to keep that up day in, day out, and they're going to lose their shit. So I think changes have to be made to that, because, you know, somebody has to go to a funeral or whatever, somebody has a birthday party, suddenly they're a man down, they can't field everybody, they can't hold their district, and all that work that they put into it before that point has gone.
Although, you can bring ringers into matches, so you might see corps offering services as, like, will be like ringers, and you
That's
pay
what the
estimates.
Imperfects planned on doing, right, Kane? You guys said you were going to be purely mercenary, or do you guys
Well,
plan on owning districts?
So the issue with ringers is that unless this next build really solves some stability issues on the U.S. side, I've heard the EU side's from certain people. I've heard the EU side's actually fairly stable with disconnects and stuff like that. The great liability with ringers is that if they disconnect, there's no way to bring them back in unless the person who's ringing them in leaves, forms a squad, pulls them back in, and that can be a liability, because not only that, you can't dynamically switch people in and out of a match based upon the needs of the match. Like, you can't pull a tanker out, put in a sniper, or do all those kinds of little nuanced changes live on the field. So
I guess that's going to be the disadvantage of essentially hiring mercenaries.
Yeah, I mean, so there's you can do it, and there's downsides to it. I would like to see a more solid mechanic for it. Like, either you. I know that they had mentioned at some point they're planning on doing a Merc contract system. I really kind of wish.
About that Merc contract system, I mean, Nullarbor said on the forums yesterday that is the next thing on their roadmap to do.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's critical. I think it's critical because we're all called mercs, It's not. It's like, we're all mercenaries supposedly, but but this next game mode is all about taking and holding and being a landowner and that kind of stuff. And the whole mercenary side of it is kind of fallen by the wayside to a certain extent. But they can't do everything at once, and they have to have time to develop things. I just sometimes worry that if the FPS community is not necessarily going to have the patience to wait out 3 months, and hopefully not any longer than 3 months, for something like that to be implemented.
Well, they could implement something like, I don't know, the Merc contract consists of like you creating a list of the guys that you would like to participate in your match, provided you give them permission to jump in. Yeah.
I mean, that all has to be, that would have to be coded, and then they'd have to go through Sony QA and all that stuff. So there's a lot of lead up time to a change like that, and it's just not in this build.
Everybody's distracted by chat. Someone keep talking.
Sorry, I'm not in chat. I'm actually playing in game. I always seem to do better when I'm on here.
It would be, that sort of mechanic would be really useful for like my corporation, the Noir guys and the Pink Fluffy Bounty Hunters, just because it's, like you said, Kane, if we suddenly are disconnected or something and we lose all our boots on the ground, it could like break contracts, whether it's established within the game or just by agreement and by word of mouth.
Yeah. The only thing that's a little disappointing, but I can also understand it not being like a critical thing, is the loss of grudge matches. Like, as the bad side of the current corporation battle system is that it's all consensual. The plus side to it is you can schedule, two people can be completely unassociated and then schedule a match to fight each other. There's workarounds for doing competitive play in the next build, I think. I think there's ways to do it, but it's definitely not as straightforward, and it definitely is going to be much more costly to execute. But the good thing is, with the packs, buying the 80 million ISK packs, you can fight anybody, anywhere, and the other person can set up a time. So the problem is you have to be involved in Planetary Conquest in order to execute that stuff. And it may be that there are people out there, like small teams of 8 people or 16, or small teams of 16 people, since it's going to be going to 16 for 16, that aren't interested necessarily in doing that, but they want to do competitive play, tournaments, esports, that kind of stuff. So, but at the same time, they need to make the larger game work first before necessarily exploring those types of things. I think that's more of side stuff.
Yeah, I wonder if, since CCP is taking out the core battle, essentially, where, like you said, if there's going to be, territories that essentially become like red versus blue that just constantly change hands that nobody really holds on to, but just becomes like the Thunderdome of the Dust universe.
Oh, dude, I think that would be awesome if it could. Well, to me, I think something that might be cool is if you have the different structures. What if one of the structures that you can put on a district is an arena? And you can host events on your district. I think that might be kind of interesting. Maybe you don't produce clones there because you have the arena there, but it gives you more leeway in terms of being attacked. But I think it might actually be pretty hilarious if you have a tournament event going on and they're like, "I'm sorry guys, we have to delay the tournament for a bit. We have to defend the district from this attack." But
I think I read something on the forums about somebody suggesting that, actually. Has anybody else seen that thread?
No, I haven't seen that.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I'm sure there's one up there. But yeah, somebody certainly suggested it to CCP.
Yeah, I think that something like that would be cool, I think. But like I said, they need to fix all the other stuff. I would much rather have Planetary Conquest resolved and squared away and all that stuff before those other things are addressed. For sure.
Yeah. Because, the Planetary Conquest is going to be the major selling point in terms of differentiating the game and giving it that level of significance that we want and they're going for.
I wonder how it's going to be when it goes solve. This is going to be a cool test, having the 200 districts to fight over. It's going to get nitty-gritty between certain corps, but now that there's no solve warfare right now, alliances can actually fight each other just for fun. For kicks and giggles, they can actually go out there and just bust each other's chops, not really get any repercussions for it, because it's all just testing. It doesn't really matter right now, you know what I mean? So anybody can fight anybody if they want to, just to see, just for fun, just to go out there and do it. There's no repercussions.
Well, there somewhat is. It's not like solve or anything, but there's going to be bonuses Eve side.
Mm-hmm.
And
but they're all nullsec, I'm saying. Most of the big alliances are all nullsec regions.
Yeah, but let's say you're in a planet that you hold and it gives bonuses to passes or something, and on one of the moons around that planet is a tech moon. Suddenly that's an actual strategic thing that Eve players care about, and you holding that planet for your alliance is actually beneficial to that.
Yeah. That's the whole goal, is to make Dustmercs worthwhile for Eve guys. That's the biggest part of it. I'm just saying, with the 200 testing part of it right now, with just the small release, it's going to be interesting to see if people just are like, hey, I don't really care because it's not going to matter. We're just going to do whatever. It'll be interesting to see who does what.
Well, I think it's definitely going to... Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, they have said that Sorry.
Cerebral. Oh, wait. Cerebral, Leoso, and then Kane. Go.
Okay.
All I was going to say is CCP have said that they can add in more districts and stuff literally at 24 hours notice. So they can open up all of LowSec in 24 hours and just drop that all on us and expand the whole thing if they wanted to, and things got a little too heated within these 250 districts.
Okay, Leoso, go.
What I'm seeing is I'm going to expect to see is like, especially with this ground modification that will let the bosses build things faster, is the capital guys, like the people that build capitals in LowSec are going to be like all over this. So that's where I'm just seeing like a really big
actually.
Eve Link market sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, and whether and how much it matters to Eve side initially, it's going to matter to the Dust side, because this is the part where people start planting their flags in the ground, and that is a big deal. I mean, especially if you can see from the map who owns what districts and that sort of stuff. It's going to be like, hey, look at our corporation, look at all these districts that we own. Because it's something much more tangible and concrete than numbers on a leaderboard. And that's the only real status symbols in a lot of ways that people have had to grasp onto. I think what's really going to be interesting to see is, and something that's kind of been overlooked, is faction warfare and how that's represented on this new star map that they've been working on and that sort of thing. Because I don't know. I think people are going to want to gravitate more towards Planetary Conquest, but who knows? Maybe there are groups out there that are going to be all over faction warfare and pushing for their side and saying, hey, look at the map. Look at how we're moving the battle in terms of the ground war with what we're doing and our success. Maybe people are going to make names for themselves that way too. I just don't know. It'll be there's so much player behavior driven stuff that's going to happen when this build drops. It'll be really interesting to see how it develops.
I suppose it depends on what sort of rewards there are for people taking part in faction warfare.
Yeah. I mean, if you can go super ISK positive running faction warfare, I mean, the fact that SP is everywhere now, that's a huge deal. The lack of skill points was a huge detractor to corporation battles, because SP is an intangible, and it's something that is in a lot of ways worth more than ISK to a player. You know, that active SP. I mean, people would sell if you could sell or transfer SP. The ISK per SP it'd be ridiculous.
You see that in any court battle video. You can obviously see the difference between high SP players and guys that are just even a couple SP behind them. Like, you see it between suit differences. You see it between gun models. I mean, you can easily tell a Type 2 suit user versus a Proto user when it comes to actual gameplay. Yeah, there's tons of FPS players out there that can compensate with skill level, but for the average gamer and the average corp, they don't have that. I mean, they literally have to rely on what they can suit up with and hope that they're going to have better gear to compensate for maybe equal or less gunplay skill. So yeah, it was a big deal. I mean, it still is now.
Like, your SP is essentially your ability to make money based on like the suits and gear you can bring to the table. Mm-hmm. And like you said, it allows you to compensate for any lack of FPS skill you might have, whether it's you or
Louisa, you saw that when I brought you into that court battle. You were witness to that. I had low SP players playing Pexorexo Holdings top tier guys, and you saw the proto levels they were using against my guys that were new and just running, what they could afford, and you could easily see a difference. You know what I mean? It's going to be huge for the corps that can finance the higher SP players and keep them in their top tier gear, because most high SP players are able to finance themselves, but the larger corps that kind of know that they rely on certain groups of people to consistently do work for them will always finance their better guys. You know what I mean? That they will do that, but it will be essential for the guys with those SP levels to have that gear, and the guys that don't have those SP levels to pray to God that they get lucky.
I think that's going to be where the Planetary Conquest system is going to really have significance, and the stakes are going to be, is because that's going to be where a lot of the money for Corp sponsored replacement programs for gear will come from until you can transfer money between Eve and Dust.
Yeah, my corp does taxes, and we actually, I think Lowratehitman did an interview with DJ from URA, and he made a backhanded comment about people leaving my corp because of the taxes. That's how we reimburse all our guys is taxes. We charge our guys $250K a week, and that's nothing. That's one match. You know what I mean? But it adds up, especially when you have high numbers and people pay their taxes. You actually are able to finance reimbursement programs and get the guys the gear they need, so they're not afraid to drop a Sagaris in a court battle, even though they know it's going to get blown up, or a Madruger, or go in with their type, their VKO suits. It encourages people to play to the best of their ability because they're not worried about the ISK. And unfortunately, this game, originally, it's gotten a lot better, but ISK is sometimes hard to come by for a lot of guys that run the top tier gear but aren't necessarily skilled enough to keep it financed properly.
Well, I mean, if you go into like a Planetary Interaction match or Planetary Conquest match, and it's like a really important one, a lot of stakes involved, you're not going to be feeling anything besides proto gear.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I think I'd just like to. Oh, sorry. Go, Kane.
No, go ahead. Well.
Alright, I'll do it quickly. They've actually put a thread up today about taxes, and that they're going to put them in, and they were looking for feedback on it. I don't know if anyone here saw that. Yeah, it's
I commented on it pretty quickly, but it is good to see, and a lot of what Quick Goss said is absolutely spot on. Actually, it is needed, and it does help corps do a lot more with their player base and allows people to run that more expensive gear.
Yeah, and something that surprised me that I think they were initially thinking about putting in, but then they ran out of time or just didn't put it in there for this build is direct player trading. I know that the market itself was not going to be. That's a lot more work because they need to plug it into the Eve market. They don't need to double up the code for Dust and Eve in terms of the market side of stuff. But the fact that you can't open up a trade window or even send ISK between players, I think that's going to create a limit to a lot of stuff, because that basic economic interaction of literally, me being able to send ISK to anybody I want to in Dust, even if it's not between Eve and Dust, it just enables so much interaction, because you could have somebody ring for your match, and let's say you want to pay them over and above what they automatically get in the corp battle from the biomass clones and stuff like that.
So he's crashing on all of ours?
It just leads, you can engage into contracts and all that kind of stuff. So.
Apparently,
but,
like people who aren't
I think what,
so.
To me, that's to me, that's why I set up the Spiro escrow services, because it seems like people are going to have a need to move money between organizations, and they're going to need to be able to do it in a discreet way, and they're going to need to be able to do it in a reliable way, and they don't necessarily, you don't want to end up with someone saying, okay, let's go, I'll pay you this to do X thing, and there's no mechanic for that right now. So, right now it's just going to be player workarounds until they implement that, and I think the sooner they can implement something like that, the better. I really do. I think it'll just, because there's no player-to-player economy right now. You can't even, if we get loot and there's no way to trade it or sell it, the loot in a lot of cases ends up being worthless, especially with the skills having to be as specialized as they are. If somebody who's an AR guy gets a proto forge gun or an officer forge gun, it's essentially dead weight. It's like, oh great, a shiny that I won't be able to use. So the added bonus of the money from the loot just isn't there. To me, that's problematic.
I don't think we're going to see any sort of integration between the Dust and Eve economies for quite some time, though. I was chatting to somebody about it a couple of days ago, and it was suggested that there may even be a 90% tax rate for Eve ISK going into Dust.
That's ridiculous, man. I was just about to ask about that. If anybody had heard anything else about the Eve to Dust transfer.
It could be that high, yeah.
That's ridiculous.
See, but I'm not too worried. I mean,
It's supposed
I can understand being cautious and careful with the dust to Eve money, but just the dust to dust money, I don't know. I think that's something that needs to be opened up as soon as possible.
To a
I believe
degree,
in
yeah,
the
but the problem
Q&A,
is,
they
Dust is already starting to suffer from inflation internally as well, because we haven't got enough stuff to spend with the ISKCON that we're getting from public matches. So we're already starting to see problems with the economy dust side as it is.
I think in the Q&A they mentioned they're either going to be this build or the next build and putting in the player-to-player transfers of both ISK and actual items.
That'd be awesome.
Like, I can't remember if it was for sure an Uprising or the next one, but
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they said that it's not going to be in Uprising. I think Fox 4 might have said that actually. But it is on the cards, and it's something that they are looking at.
because, I mean, like you said, it's very important, especially with people just sitting on mounds and mounds of ISK. Like you said, it's just going to inflate, and then they're just going to have a lot of problems when they actually create a interplayer market, first within Dust and then within Eve and Dust.
Sorry, I got distracted. I missed that. Blame Quick Gloves.
Like,
Why do I always get blamed? This is ridiculous.
Because you were chatting to me in chat.
Chatting to
You
everybody.
guys-
I'm on the forums right now.
oh my gosh.
I don't have your ability to multitask.
Attention spans all over the place. Oh my
No,
god.
it's just, somebody linked the forum thread about
Taxes.
yeah,
Hey, what's
and
this?
while I was on here, I got irritated because there's 50 million people crying about team killing. It's an FPS. Get over it.
Yeah, you can pretty much
Yeah.
blame my guys for, what, 90% of that, but
I run people over all the time in the LAV because it's funny.
it is funny. Oh, there's another
Obviously,
thread up.
Quick
Yeah, I
Gloves.
see what you're saying.
Obviously, Quick Gloves does not take this seriously enough.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, there's some more stuff I want to cover for Planetary Conquest. There's actually one thing I want to cover on the skill points refund thing, which I'll just mention now before we move on to more Planetary Conquest stuff, was that having like light weapon sharpshooter exist is kind of a bad thing because like whichever has the most weapons that it affects is actually the better skill. So it's actually like better for like that skill's way better because it just makes like assaults better or something because it just covers more weapons. So it's just
It balances the game. You can balance the game better too, because rather than saying, "Oh gosh, well, the percentage of range increase on the light weapon skill is too much," you can say, "Oh, well, the skill that we put in here for the mash driver, sharpshooter or whatever it ends up being, needs to be tweaked a little bit." And so you can go through and tweak individual stuff. And since the way they set up Dust is a lot of this, the way the game interacts is database side on the server, so they can actually go in and day to day switch numbers around, kind of like what part of what Cerebral was alluding to as well, with them able to open up more regions in 24 hours. The same way they can do that, they can also change stats for a lot of things live, which is great because it allows them to be really agile in terms of how they develop the game and react to feedback and that sort of thing, and not have to worry about always going through the QA process through Sony and all that stuff in order to fix things.
Okay. Right, moving on to like more PC stuff. I mean, the actual changes to, because they're changing, like the proposed changes in the dev blog was like you get more clones per day and you get less of a bonus from the structure you can actually build, and I think it's the same bonus, but like it's like a different
brings it up to
percentage.
it brings it up to the same numbers, but it's not percentage based now.
So, like, what are your thoughts on like getting more clones and the change the amount you make? I think you get more money per clone as well.
You get the same amount of money per clone, but you get more for biomass clones.
Yes, it's from 50,000 ISK to 80,000 ISK, I think is what it is. What the change was.
I think it's trying to make attacking more profitable. Just trying to encourage people to take that jump and do attacks and stuff in PC as opposed to just bluing up.
Yeah, because
no blue donut.
Yeah, conflict is king in an FPS. I mean, I kind of wonder how much blue donut's going to would happen in any situation with the FPS players because people want to fight. Granted, the leadership of organizations could always encourage people to not fight, but people are going to want to blow stuff up. It's just the way FPS players are. You know, they're going to...
It's partially between the difference between the games as well, because in Eve, there's things to do besides blowing stuff up. In Dust, you shoot someone in the face, and that's about it.
Yes, definitely.
I mean, for me, I think the changes all the changes that they made are fairly positive. I mean, when you step back and look at them a little bit more, even the complaints that were made about the Clone Starter Pack price going up, I think is pretty good.
I just have a little concern with over the long term. I mean, I know they can if they can increase the number of districts and all that stuff is good, but I still worry about the barrier to entry for a brand new corporation that has a small number of people. Because if I mean, it's going to be unlikely that this would be the scenario, but I'm sure, there could be weaker districts that aren't reinforced to like the full 450 clones, I think is what it is, but or 300 clones. But the thing is, if you're attacking fresh, you're always limited to 150 clones, so you're going to almost always be at a numerical disadvantage in terms of clone count when you attack an enemy, and you're spending 80 million ISK a pop, to attack. So if you have to do 3 attacks to flip a district, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of ISK. Think
about it long term.
I think
what I was saying about the economies suffering from ISK inflation already. In 12 months' time, 80 million ISK is going to be a lot less than it is now.
Yeah.
That barrier for entry is not always going to be as high as it is now. I really don't think it's going to be that big of an issue later on. If people can't generate that money, then they probably shouldn't be in Planetary Conquest anyway.
And also, I see like a need for the devs to put in Dust alliances if that becomes an issue, like Kane said. So like you could have, instead of paying for the 3 starter packs yourself, you have like 3 separate corps fielding the money.
Yeah.
1 for each starter pack.
Well, and I think a Merc contract system would alleviate a lot of problems too. There has to be a way for very small organizations, like a group of real life friends that get together and you have only 16 people. There has to be a way for them to be able to be involved in pretty much any tier of gameplay, I think. Because I think that's vital to an FPS, is you need to be able to engage
in any tier. Any tier.
Yeah.
So you're talking about public games, you're talking about faction warfare, you're talking about Planetary Conquest, and you're talking about nullsec.
In some form or fashion, the small groups of people need to be able to be involved. How those mechanics work, I don't know, but the thing is, FPS is all about small groups of people in a lot of different ways. You can also have large groups and communities as well, but at the same time, like I said, your friends down the street that all play the game, that sort of thing is much more paramount, I think, in an FPS community.
Would you... Because the way I look at it, like the easiest way to do that would just be to add more and more districts and make sure that there's always too many for people to actually comfortably hold. Because a large organization probably isn't going to make... Like, there's a point where, like, you can't take any more territory because you literally just don't have enough people to defend it.
Well, to me, it's almost like a stopgap. I would rather there at some point be mechanics implemented to where small groups, like maybe you make it to where a 16-man group can do a raid on a district and don't actually take the district. They literally go in there and steal stuff out of it. They don't actually flip the ownership or anything like that, but it's something to where they can engage in combat, they can fight, but they don't, and then they go and they blow stuff up and they leave, or like a Black Ops.
Like a Viking raid, they come in and just pillage and take what they want and go home.
Yeah, exactly. I think that type of gameplay should be fostered to a certain extent, but the mechanics have to be balanced. You can't have it to where people who own land are just getting bashed all the time, and it makes it to where owning land sucks and is a grind fest because you're always getting people pecking at you. So there has to be a way to work it out and balance it. To me, I think over the long term, what might be interesting is if the war barge may be used as a way to solve that mechanic, but that's way down the line. I don't know. I would like to make sure that I would like the game to make sure that there's a way that really small organizations can still engage the game at any level.
Well, me and you were talking about this yesterday. I think you really should start a thread on it because it was a really interesting idea that you had.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be all for the introduction of essentially as piracy and Dust.
Yeah, because there needs to be more professions, and right now the profession that's going to be developed by Planetary Conquest is landowner. Empire builder, that sort of thing. You don't have. You have the mercenary profession to an extent in faction warfare and in pub play. That's definitely there, but I think it could be grown. And I think having, like you said, a piracy type profession would be good for the health of the game in the long run.
Okay. Quick Gloves has to go in fairly soon, so we're just gonna do a really short show actually. There's only one more thing I want to talk about as far as PC goes, and that's the Eve side bonuses and the mechanics they announced for that is that it's gonna be that depending on how many districts you hold for your whole alliance benefits allied Eve players. I was wondering what your thoughts on it being a per district thing.
It could be game-breakingly bad. They've got to be really careful with what they do in there.
Do you think large alliances like TEST, HBC, CFC, and the fact that when it goes to null and solve, that the dust mercs, I myself am the only dust merc for the unclaimed. So that means when it goes to null, I have access to all unclaimed territories that will be defended by unclaimed ships and things like that. Do you think that's gonna, that's what you're worried about, Cerebral? Or that gonna be, just massively inflating these corps that have access to things like that?
No, I'm more worried about the percentages and how things are going to work, because I was chatting with somebody about bonuses that could be applied for manufacturing and things, and when you look at it from a corp point of view, already a lot of these planets are producing somewhere in the region of 1 billion ISK to a corp purely on taxes already. Now, if they're going to go and produce, say, X amount more PI goods or manufacture X amount more PI goods, that's then going to mean more taxes for corps as well. It's going to bring in a hell of a lot more money and a hell of a lot more, whatever it is that they decide to give a bonus to, and it could really unbalance things.
Well, in terms of PI and actual moon goo, since we're only going to be able to capture temperate planets, that cuts down on the game-breaking percentage by a large margin. But in terms of manufacturing,
but if it's wrong now, they're then going to have to go back and rework it all in 6, 12, 18 months time.
I would hope they would actually fix it within the next build if they really screw something up royally with the uprising.
It would be nice if they do that, but obviously there's no guarantees.
Yeah.
I guess I'd like to see some numbers now so we can give feedback on it.
Yeah. It needs to be done really. They've got to come out and say that this is what the bonuses are going to be, this is how it's going to impact people, and then people can go away, they can run the numbers, and then they can come back and say, well, hang on a minute, this is going to break X, Y, and Z because of this, that, and the other, and you really need to do something about it before you launch it, like they've done with us with Planetary Conquest.
And I'd hope there'd be some sort of level of diminishing returns like they do in everything in Eve, but...
Yeah, I really don't want the POS fuel reduction thing that they've talked about to generate fuel inside your POSes because you just stack the bonus up too high.
Well, again, though, that's going to go hand in hand with the PI bonuses, because a lot of POS fuel is manufactured from PI.
Yeah.
Well,
So you could,
yeah, I mean, well, in terms of uprising, I don't see that as a concern because temper planets are among the worst for PI. But as things go forward, yeah, you could see that being a problem.
They are amongst the worst for PI generation of goods, but not for manufacturing things. They're the best planets for that.
True.
yeah,
True.
because people are going to locate all of their where they're building up the highest end stuff on their planets, and then if that's bonus, you're basically putting a bonus to the top tier PI goods.
In addition to that, EVE players are going to flock to wherever they can get the best bonuses, which means the corps that are the planets are also going to get more tax from it.
Yeah, then you're going to see some interaction between the EVE owners of the POCOs and who owns the districts below, basically.
Exactly. When you've got a corp, an EVE corp, that has dust mercenaries in it as well, they're going to have all this taxation income coming from the POCOs, all the money from the PI goods or whatever, and they're going to have the clone generation income on top of that. They're going to have a hell of a lot of money coming in. A hell of a lot of money.
Yeah, that kind of goes back to
I don't think CCP's looked at that at all.
I mean, but see, the only issue is it all comes down to how much is the PI bonus per district per SI structure, and how and which structure gets to what bonus, because that's going to be a lot of that's all tactical decisions in terms of how you use your district, and so it's going to be interesting to see the interplay between someone's, it'd be interesting to see if someone in a alliance, like, so you have Eve Corps and Dust Corps, and the Eve Corps are like, we really, really need to put this structure there, and they're like, and the Dust Corps are like, no, we really want this structure because we want to be able to, generate more clones, or we want to be able to do long-range attacks more efficiently. So it'll be, but I don't know, the numbers is what's key, because if the bonuses aren't huge, or if they stack, or do they stack, or is there a huge stacking penalty or not, there's no way to know. So it's very like wibbly wobbly,
I would hope that the structures that give benefits to EVE players essentially will diminish the defensibility of that territory by virtue of not having the dust-specific structures, or at least hamper their ability to expand or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I think the way it is right now is each dust structure has a EVE side benefit, is the way they have it right now. You don't build an EVE beneficial structure. That actually, maybe that's an interesting way to balance it out, would be to say, okay, you can either have an EVE bonus structure or a dust bonus structure. I don't know.
It would be less game breaking, I think.
Yeah, even if it if it ends up not breaking things with that sort of hampering on it or keeping it held back, they can gradually pull things back just to make sure things aren't broken and they're not. Basically, I'm saying they want gradual changes so they don't run into the situation that Cerebral's saying.
Yeah.
It's really tricky. It's going to be a tough one for them to get right, and I think the sooner that they release these numbers for people to sort of look at them and analyse them, the better the results are going to be long term.
Mhm.
I don't know. We can only wait and see, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, we'll all know in a month and a few days, I guess, once the new build drops. So, for sure, in terms of what all the other stuff is, I'll be interesting to see if they announce more things at FanFest. I'd imagine that they would, though, that more details would come out, that sort of thing.
Well, it was said in the video blog that they did.
They got something.
Yeah, they've got some things they want to announce that hasn't been mentioned anywhere yet.
Oh,
Maybe
okay.
we'll get some cool stuff that we don't know anything about.
Yeah, they have to save something for FanFest, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Well, hopefully we get some stuff to talk about soon, as far as that goes, numbers wise.
And some more metagame stuff, that'd be nice.
Yeah. Oh, there's been
There's
That's
been
one thing
plenty
for
of
sure.
that.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm not high up in a dust corp, so I don't have the ear to the ground or anything. That's pretty
Well,
much all I get
there's
is on
probably
the
been a little
outside.
too much recently.
Okay, well I think that's us, really. Unless anyone has anything more to say. That's stuff this week.
No, not personally.
More numbers.
Go play Dust so you can get your human endurance bonuses.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
that was the other thing, is they've actually made those like good, and they're running like the entire month. And, like there was some other changes. I think you only have to play 100 matches in the month and you get all of the bonuses.
Really?
I think that you get something special if you play the 100 matches in
Yeah.
a month.
Oh, okay.
100 matches
Something
played in the month of April. Is that the way
Pretty
they're doing
much.
it? Oh, man.
Basically, all the hardcore players are laughing at it and just going about business.
Yeah. Funny. Well, I'll know I'll be putting in my matches. Hopefully, I can get that knocked out before FanFest, because I don't know how much Dusty's going to go on that week.
Oh, and there was the tournament. Although, is that actually going to happen, or?
Right. No, it's set up. Electronic Sports League has got it going. They are setting up the cup and the brackets now on the website. So it'll be going, and I'll be Spiro Escrow Service will be handling the entry fees, so that there's an ISK pot. Because before we haven't had any real ISK money involved with the matches, so I think that'll be nice to have a pool of money to give to the prize winners. And we have over $200 in PSN codes and Merc packs and all that stuff already pledged through Sentient Archon of Red Star and GNN. And also, I think there was one other a specific individual actually is going to be dropping a Merc pack on the event as well. So I think it should be pretty awesome. It's just it'll be interesting to see it pulling it off before the next build drops. But I think it'll be a good way to send Chromosome off, because I think we've been around it for a very, very long time, and we'll.
Oh, actually, just thinking about the stuff that we were doing earlier today, along with like the tank stuff they were talking about last week, that could be a very broken tournament.
Yeah. Well,
No,
I
I think the stuff that we were doing earlier is going to get fixed before then.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, we actually have to go do that.
Yes.
Like, break
Yes.
some stuff, because I actually really want to. I want to get a good video of it. I'll put the video of us trying to do it up, and then I'll have us actually.
Not just yet, but
Not just
yeah.
yet. It'll come up when they fix it, because otherwise I don't want to get banned.
You won't get banned for it because they've been made aware of it, but
Stay tuned for
if
that.
everybody starts doing it, it would be really bad. Really, really
No.
bad.
Yep. I'll have to come up with a new hashtag for that one.
Yeah, I think that will be good.
Oh, yeah, we can't even describe it either, because
No.
people will figure it out.
Let's say there's
CCP's
something really interesting coming.
Just go subscribe, because there'll be a video on it at some point on my channel. Cool. Anyway,
I'm sure it'll come up in an episode as well.
yeah, I think we're gonna do plugs and stuff before we finish this out. So I'll start with Cerebral. Like, have you got anything to plug before?
I just want to give a big thank you to Fox4 and Nullarbor. They've been really, really good this week. They've been really active on IRC. I've had some really good chats with them. So big shout out to you guys, and keep listening.
Cool. Also, you can plug your Twitter and other stuff as well.
Well, yeah. If you want to put my Twitter on the episode, feel free. More views is always good, especially with the stuff that we've got coming up.
Cool. Kane?
I would say go check out, if you haven't signed up already, go ahead, check out the thread for the tournament and sign up. It should be a lot of fun. It's going to probably be the last competitive play that we're going to have for a while, with the changes that are dropping in the next build.
Cool. If you want to put that in the show notes, then I'll put it on the video.
Yeah.
Cool. And Leoso.
I'll just be sure to check out thematani.com for all your Eve and Dust news, and always remember the Noir Mercenary Group and the Pink Fluffy Bounty Hunters for all your merc needs.
You guys must be like really happy about last week, was it?
I was ecstatic and laughing my ass off.
I think everybody was.
How many people actually write about Dust for the Matani? Just out of interest.
3.
Yeah. I think I just stream. I don't write for them. I write for Eve News 24 at the moment. I haven't had a chance to write
you.
though.
Shame on you.
Hey, I
No,
submitted a writing
shame
sample
on
and it
you.
wasn't good enough. So
Well, what's that say about your writing?
I know exactly.
I
It's
bet
good
you
enough for Eve
voted.
News 24.
I bet you voted for Riverny as well, didn't you? For CSM.
I actually haven't voted yet. I'm like telling people to go out and vote, and I haven't had a chance to vote yet.
If you vote him, I will personally shoot you in the face.
You already do that anyways. Come on.
All right. We'll be back next week. So thanks everybody for tuning in. We have to go break Dust before they fix it.
Yeah, we're on a timeline now.
Yeah.